Hi, it's Margaret. Before I get to Dan Brown's book, I want to say a word about West Heart Kill by Dan McDorman. I started this book a couple of weeks ago, and the premise was very interesting. The author tells us, the reader, how mystery novels come about. What are their secrets? What's Agatha Christie do in her books? What's Sir Arthur Conan Doyle do in his Sherlock Holmes books? The book is set in a secluded hunting lodge with lots of suspects, both despicable and somewhat nice. The author then tells us about this private eye that's going to join them for this weekend. Who is he investigating? What's his role there? We don't know. And I was 71 pages into the book, still no murder. These characters are so, I want to say uninteresting, but you don't care about them. So when Dan Brown's new book arrived in the mail, I thought, I'm going to chuck this. Maybe I'll come back to it, and maybe I won't. And authors know, or they should know, that the reader has no obligation to finish a book that doesn't capture them. I give books usually 2 or 3 chapters before I say, okay, this is exciting, or this I want to dump. So, now we'll talk about Dan Brown's new Robert Langdon book called The Secret of Secrets. Personally, I think this title sucks, but that's neither here nor there. Remember the Bill Hader character of Stefan on Saturday Night Live? He was very flamboyant, and he would say, when describing, he gave reviews of New York City nightclubs, and he'd say, this has everything. And then he'd go on to list what these nightclubs had. Well, Dan Brown's Secret of Secrets has everything. Mystery, intrigue, secret passageways, codes, riddles, evil CIA operatives, heroic book publishing employees. What? What's going on there? Mysterious, ancient, mythical creatures and figures, scientific breakthroughs, references of Olympic medalist Usain Bolt, former diplomat and good guy Norm Eisen, Taylor Swift, all set in the historic and beautiful city of Prague. I learned so much about the city. I have a feeling that Prague is going to up its tourism numbers by a lot because of this book, kind of like the Da Vinci Code did for Paris and England. Okay, anyway, now this isn't a spoiler, but Robert Langdon has a girlfriend. Yes, he's got a girlfriend. And shocker of all shockers, she's older than he is. Now that's very unusual. How does that happen? The story revolves around her unpublished manuscript, and her name is Catherine Solomon. And evil forces may or may not want to destroy it and all of the information that's within this soon-to-be book. There are miscues, misdirects, chases, evil people colliding with good people, and a lot of our hero Langdon figuring out stuff. Surprise, surprise, he's good at that. I hope Dan Brown pays his researchers very well, because on this book they must have worked overtime researching the city of Prague, researching the human brains and the capabilities of that. Um, I'll tell you that I didn't like his book Origin. I didn't like his book Inferno, but The Secret of Secrets is the best since the Da Vinci Code, in my opinion. I enjoyed it a lot, so much. You know you're reading a book that you love when two things happen. One, you want to get to the end as soon as possible. You want to figure out what the hero has figured out. And two, you don't want to get to the end as soon as possible. You want to keep reading. You're sad when the book ends. That's this book. I will give it 4.7 stars. So, have you read it? What book are you reading? Tell me in the comments below. Thank you. Bye-bye.